He was only 11 when the sun turned red and his world vanished in smoke. His name was Brotier Furrow, a prince's son who would lose everything but hope. In the lush heart of West Africa, young Brotier lived freely among his people. His father was a wise chief, his mother gentle and proud. The village was filled with laughter, drum beats, and the scent of roasted yams. But peace is fragile. One morning, before the rooster crowed, raiders stormed the village, men armed with muskets and greed. They were slave traders' allies. Brotier's father fought bravely, refusing to surrender his people. But when the battle ended, he was captured and beheaded before his son's eyes, a warning to all who resisted. Bound in chains, Brotier and other captives were forced to march hundreds of miles to the coast. Many died along the way. He walked barefoot over thorns and stones, hearing only the cries of the broken. When they reached the ocean, he saw something monstrous, a ship that swallowed people and never brought them back. That ship would carry him into the darkness of the Atlantic and into a world built on human suffering. The ship's name was the Hare. To the traders, it was a vessel. To the captives, it was hell. Brotier was chained below deck, packed shoulder to shoulder with hundreds of others. The air was thick with sickness and death. Men cried out for water. Children went silent. The ocean roared outside, a cruel lullaby. Every day, the crew tossed the dead into the sea. Every night, the living prayed not to be next. Brotier watched as his friends faded one by one, until only a few remained. He survived, not because he was stronger, but because he refused to die a slave in his heart. Months later, the ship reached America. The captives were scrubbed, oiled, and lined up for sale. A merchant pointed to Brotier and said, "That one, he looks strong. I'll take him." And with a pen stroke, his name was stripped away. He was renamed Venture, because the merchant joked, "He is my most expensive venture yet." Venture's new life began in Rhode Island. From dawn till night, he toiled, cutting wood, hauling stone, and serving his master's whims. Every whip mark on his back became a reminder he would not die a slave. Years passed. Venture grew into a giant of a man, tall, powerful, and silent. His master noticed his strength and trusted him with more work, but never with freedom. In time, Venture fell in love with another enslaved woman. They married in secret. Together they dreamed of one thing, to one day buy their freedom. Then, a miracle, his master offered him a deal. "Pay me 71 pounds, and you can have your liberty." It was an impossible sum for a slave, but Venture accepted. At night, while others slept, he cut timber, sold wood, and saved every coin. His hands bled, his body ached, but his spirit burned brighter with every sunrise. After years of saving, Venture finally placed a heavy pouch on his master's table. The coins clinked one by one, the sound of redemption. His master hesitated, but took the money. Papers were signed. And just like that, Venture Smith was free. But freedom came with new chains, racism, deceit, and endless struggle. Employers cheated him. Neighbors distrusted him. Yet he refused to bow. He built a life for himself, buying land and starting a business. Slowly, he earned enough to purchase his wife and children's freedom too. He had once been sold like an object. Now he was buying back his family, piece by piece. The man once called Venture had turned his name into a prophecy. Every struggle, a new investment in freedom. In his later years, Venture Smith stood tall, not as a slave, but as a legend. He helped other freed Africans find work, defended the weak, and spoke out against injustice. Many called him the African giant, both for his size and his heart. Before his death, Venture told his story to a writer. That manuscript became one of the first autobiographies of an African in America. Through his words, he reminded the world that freedom is never given. It is fought for, earned, and lived every day. They dragged him from his homeland, stripped him of his name, chained his hands, and drowned his childhood in the Atlantic. But even the ocean couldn't silence his spirit. Venture Smith rose from the ashes of slavery, not with weapons, but with will. He fought every chain, every lie, every wall built to keep him down, and he won. He bought back his freedom, then bought the freedom of his family. He turned pain into purpose and became the living proof that the human soul cannot be owned. Centuries may have passed, but his story still echoes through time, reminding us that courage is louder than cruelty, and freedom is a heartbeat of every generation. If his story moved you, don't let it end here. Like this video, share it so the world never forgets, and subscribe to Tales by DOS for more true stories that reveal the hidden chapters of history, because some stories were never meant to be buried.